Why do you always chase the person who pulls away? Why do you feel suffocated the moment someone actually wants you? Why does every relationship start to feel like the same story, just with different names and different faces? If any of that feels uncomfortably familiar, there's a reason. And it's not just bad luck. It's not that you're broken or doomed to repeat the same mistakes forever. It often has to do with something called your attachment style. In the 1960s, a psychologist named John Bowlby started exploring a simple but powerful idea: the way our earliest caregivers responded to us, whether they were warm or cold, consistent or unpredictable, safe or scary, taught our nervous systems what to expect from love. Is love something safe? Is it reliable? Do people stay when things get hard? Or do they invade, disappear, or punish you for needing them? These early lessons don't stay in childhood. They follow us. They shape the way we date, the way we fight, the way we pull close or push away in our closest relationships. In this video, we're going to break down the 4 main attachment styles. We'll look at how they actually feel from the inside, the thoughts, the body sensations, the patterns you might recognize in yourself. And then we're going to see them through a slightly different lens. A few Greek myth-inspired archetypes: Hera, Artemis, Persephone, Athena. By the end, you'll have a clearer name for your pattern and a few gentle, practical steps you can start taking to shift it. Before we go any further, a quick note. This video is meant for education and self-reflection. It's not a diagnosis. It's not a replacement for therapy. If you're in an overwhelming or unsafe situation, please reach out to a therapist, counselor, or someone you trust. What we're doing here is shining a light on patterns, understanding yourself a little better. That's the goal. All right, let's get into it. So what is an attachment style, really? Think of it as a pattern, a kind of automatic blueprint for how you connect, cling, distance yourself, or panic in close relationships. It started forming in childhood, in the small, everyday moments with your caregivers. Did they come when you cried? Did they dismiss your feelings? Were they sometimes loving and sometimes frightening? Your nervous system was paying attention, and it built a model. This is what love is. This is what I have to do to survive it. That blueprint doesn't disappear when you grow up. It shows up in your dating life, in your long-term relationships, in your friendships, even at work. It influences who you're drawn to, how you act when you feel threatened, and what feels normal to you in love, even when it hurts. There are 4 main attachment styles, and here's a very quick summary. Secure attachment. I can be close and I can be separate, and I'm basically okay either way. Anxious attachment. I'm scared you'll leave. I need constant proof that you care. Avoidant attachment. I'm scared you'll swallow me. Closeness feels like a trap. And disorganized, sometimes called fearful avoidant. I want you close, but I'm terrified of you. I swing between yes and no. We're going to start by exploring the 3 insecure patterns: anxious, avoidant, and disorganized, with real-life examples and mythic mirrors. Then we'll end by looking at secure attachment as a hopeful model, something to grow toward. Psychologists like Carl Jung talked about archetypes, big symbolic characters that show up in myths and stories, and also in our inner lives. So when I mention Hera, Artemis, Persephone, or Athena here, think of them as patterns of energy, not literal gods. Let's start with anxious attachment. If this is your pattern, your inner world might sound something like this. Are they mad at me? Why haven't they texted back? Did I say something wrong? They're probably losing interest. I knew this was too good to be true. There's a persistent fear of being abandoned, replaced, or not enough. You might find yourself overanalyzing silences, checking your phone constantly, or interpreting any small distance as proof that the relationship is falling apart. You may feel like you have to earn love by being perfect, agreeable, helpful, or small. And when you sense someone pulling away, you pull harder. You pursue. You need reassurance like oxygen. Here's a mini scenario. You had a great date. You texted them afterward. An hour passes. Then 2. Your chest starts to tighten. Your stomach drops. You check your phone again. You check again. You start replaying every moment of the date, looking for what you did wrong. By hour 4, you're half convinced it's over. This is where the mythic lens comes in. In Greek mythology, Hera is the queen of the gods, powerful, devoted, and deeply bound to her role as Zeus's wife. But she spends much of her story in a state of constant vigilance, watching for betrayal, terrified of being replaced. Her love is intense, but it's also full of anxiety and surveillance. In real life, anxious attachment can feel exactly like this. You can't relax into the relationship because you're always scanning for signs that it's about to disappear. You love hard, but from a place of fear, not peace. Now let's look at avoidant attachment. If this is your pattern, closeness might feel complicated. You like intimacy. In theory, you might even crave it sometimes. But when someone actually gets close, something shifts. You feel crowded, pressured, like the walls are closing in. The inner world of avoidant attachment often sounds like, they want too much, I need space. Why are they so needy? I was fine on my own. There's often a deep, sometimes unconscious belief that depending on others is dangerous. That if you need someone, you'll be let down, or worse, controlled. So you protect yourself by staying a little bit removed, emotionally unavailable, busy. Here's a mini scenario. You go on a date that actually feels good. You're surprised by how connected you feel. You open up. It's vulnerable. And then the next morning, something inside you recoils. You suddenly feel pressured, even if they haven't done anything wrong. You take longer to reply. You cancel plans. You don't ghost, but you go cool, distant. You tell yourself you just need space, but really, some part of you is running. The mythic lens here is Artemis, the goddess of the hunt in the wild. She lives in the forest, free and independent, surrounded by her chosen companions, but fiercely protective of her autonomy. She's strong, she's capable, but intimacy, for her, is a threat to her freedom. In real life, avoidant attachment can feel exactly like this. You equate closeness with losing yourself. You might even feel more comfortable longing for someone from a distance than actually being with them. Solitude feels safe. Need feels dangerous. Finally, let's talk about disorganized attachment, sometimes called fearful avoidant. This one is the most confusing from the inside, because you want love, you want it desperately, but when someone actually shows up, when the relationship starts to feel real, something inside you short-circuits. The inner world of disorganized attachment might sound like this. Come here. No, go away. Wait, don't leave. Actually, I need space. Why do I keep sabotaging this? What is wrong with me? You might swing between anxious behaviors, craving closeness, needing reassurance, and avoidant ones, shutting down, pushing people away, numbing out. Sometimes both in the same hour. It's exhausting, and it often comes with a deep sense of shame. I'm too much. I'm too broken. I ruin everything I touch. Here's a mini scenario. You meet someone kind, patient, consistent. At first, it feels amazing, safe, But then you start to feel exposed, vulnerable. Old fear kicks in. So you pick a fight, or you pull back, or you flirt with someone else to test them, or you just disappear for a few days. And afterward you feel awful, ashamed and terrified that you've just destroyed the thing you wanted most. The mythic lens here is Persephone. In myth, Persephone lives between two worlds, the sunlit world above with her mother Demeter, and the dark underworld as queen beside Hades. She's not fully at home in either place. She's pulled between safety and danger, light and shadow. For a lot of people with disorganized attachment, love feels exactly like this, both home and threat, both the thing you long for and the thing you terrify you most. Before we move on, let's pause. If you saw yourself in more than one of these patterns, that's normal. Most people are a mix, leaning one way or another depending on the relationship or the situation. These aren't boxes to trap yourself in. They're lenses to help you understand why you react the way you do. And remember, these are learned patterns. They made sense once. They were survival strategies. They are not your identity, and they are not permanent. So where do these patterns come from? The short answer, your nervous system made its best guess about what love is, based on what it experienced early on. If your caregivers were generally warm, consistent, and responsive, if they came when you needed them and gave you space when you didn't, your system probably learned love is safe. I can depend on people. I can also stand on my own. That's the foundation for secure attachment. But not everyone got that. For anxious attachment, the caregiver was often inconsistent. Warm and present one moment, distracted or emotionally unavailable the next. The child learned, I have to cling, I have to perform, I have to be extra good or extra loud just to keep them here. For avoidant attachment, the caregiver may have dismissed emotions, invaded privacy, or punished vulnerability. The child learned needing people is dangerous. If I ask for less, I'll get hurt less. Distance is safer than need. For disorganized attachment, the same person who was supposed to be safe was also a source of fear. Maybe there was yelling, maybe there was chaos or addiction or unpredictability. The child's attachment system learned a terrible contradiction. The person I need is also the person I'm scared of. And that contradiction doesn't go away. It shows up later as the push-pull pattern. Crave closeness, fear closeness, repeat. In another video, we explored the topic of controlling parents. But even if you haven't seen that, the core idea is this. When the person you depend on also feels like a threat, your attachment system learns to survive, not to relax. That survival wiring can follow you for years, long after you've left that home. And here's the thing. You caregivers may have been doing the best they could with their own wounds. That can be true. And the impact on you is also real. Both things can be true at once.
So, what does secure attachment actually look like? It's not about being perfect. It's not about never having needs or never feeling scared. It's about having a basic sense of trust in yourself and in the possibility of healthy connection. When you're securely attached, you can be close without feeling swallowed. You can be separate without feeling abandoned. You can handle conflict without shutting down completely or exploding. You can say, I feel anxious right now, or I need a little space, and not expect the other person to punish you for it. At your core, you believe something like, I'm worthy of love, and some people can be trusted. The mythic lens here is Athena. In Greek mythology, Athena is the goddess of wisdom and strategy. She's strong, grounded, independent, but she's also capable of alliance, of standing beside others without losing herself. She doesn't need to cling. She doesn't need to run. She can show up, assess the situation, and respond with clarity. Think of secure attachment as your inner Athena, the part of you that can stay present in relationships, set boundaries when you need them, and still remain connected. She's not cold. She's not perfect. She's just grounded. And here's the good news. Even if you weren't handed secure attachment in childhood, you can grow toward it. It takes time. It takes practice. Sometimes it takes help from a therapist or a truly safe relationship, but your nervous system can learn new patterns. It's not too late.
Let's get practical. Here are a few tools you can start experimenting with, depending on which pattern feels most familiar to you. Name the story, not the truth. When you start spiraling, they didn't text back, it's over. Practice saying to yourself, this is my anxious story talking. It's not the whole truth. You're not trying to argue with the fear, you're just creating a little space between you and the panic. Build a bigger life. One of the hardest truths about anxious attachment is that the relationship can become your whole world. So gently, over time, work on building other sources of meaning, friendships, hobbies, goals, self-respect. Your partner should be a wonderful part of your life, not your only source of worth. Practice self-soothing. When you feel activation rising, the chest tightening, the spinning thoughts, try slowing your breath. Place a hand on your chest. Feel your feet on the floor. You're not in danger, you're having a feeling. And feelings, even big ones, can pass. If this feels heavy right now, that's okay. You've been carrying these patterns for a long time. You don't have to fix everything tonight. Just seeing the pattern clearly is already a powerful step. Stay 5 minutes longer. When you feel that familiar urge to pull away, especially after closeness or vulnerability, try staying in the conversation or in the room just a little longer before you disconnect. You don't have to push through for hours, just 5 more minutes. Let your nervous system learn that closeness doesn't always mean danger. Name what you feel instead of numbing. Avoidant patterns often involve shutting down emotionally or going busy. Practice checking in with your body, tight chest, numbness, restlessness, and then try putting simple language to it. I feel overwhelmed, or I feel pressure right now. You don't have to fix the feeling, just name it. Reframe intimacy. Somewhere along the way, you may have learned that closeness equals control, that letting someone in means losing yourself. Gently challenge that belief. Look for examples in friendships, in media, in therapy, of people who are close and still respect each other's boundaries. Intimacy doesn't have to be a trap. Notice the two voices. When you feel that push-pull tearing you apart, come here, go away, try seeing it as two protective voices, not proof that you're crazy. One part of you is desperate not to be alone. Another part is terrified of being hurt. Both are trying to keep you safe. You don't have to choose between them. You just have to learn to hear them without being hijacked by either. Choose safety over intensity. Disorganized attachment often comes with a pull toward chaos, drama, volatility, relationships that feel like roller coasters. Give yourself permission to value consistency over intensity. Boring can be beautiful. Safe can be thrilling in its own quiet way. Seek extra support when you need it. If your history includes a lot of chaos or trauma, working with a therapist or support group can be especially helpful. These patterns run deep, and there's no shame in asking for guidance while you untangle them. You don't have to do this alone. Here's a journal prompt for everyone, no matter your style. If my love life is a pattern, what does it keep repeating? And what is one small, different step I'm willing to try the next time I feel that pattern starting? You don't have to answer that right now. Just let it sit with you. Your attachment style is not your destiny. It's a pattern, a survival strategy your nervous system built a long time ago, often before you had words for it. It made sense then. It helped you cope with what you couldn't control. But you're not a child anymore, and you have more choices now than you did then. You are not broken. You are patterned, and patterns, with awareness and practice, can shift. The fact that you watched this far, that you're even curious about this, means some wiser part of you is already reaching for a different kind of love, a steadier kind, a safer kind. And that reaching in itself is a form of healing. You are allowed to learn new ways of loving, at your own pace, in your own time. If something in this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear which attachment style felt most familiar. Drop a comment. Anxious, avoidant, disorganized, or share what small step you want to try. Sometimes naming it out loud is the first real move. And if you want more videos like this, where we explore deep psychology, you can subscribe and stick around. We're just getting started. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.